everyone. Welcome back to the podcast, TRTMB, episode number 16. Luka Byrne in the house once again. How you going, man?
Thank you. Doing very well. How are you going, Shannon?
Good, man. Good. We just got very nicely warmed up to a Kanye West song. Is it Monster?
Monster, yeah. We've been hitting the Kanye on the last two episodes.
It's a monster track. It's good bass drum vibes. Good vibes when that snare drops in the verse, I must say.
Yeah, great track. Old school. Been around for a while, that one, but certainly still relevant. Still hits.
Nice. Yeah.
Still slaps.
Still slaps. Yeah. Yeah, I only got into Kanye probably last year, or maybe started this year. Got into him properly. I listened to the Late Registration quite a lot at work. Gold Digger, all those tracks, crack music, good stuff. So yeah, maybe we'll try a new Kanye warm-up track next week. So
I like it.
Oh man, how's your week? Or how's your day or week been?
Day was a busy one today. Got up this morning, had a rabies shot this morning. At the doctor's, yeah. With the going to be doing some wildlife rescue stuff with bats, so I'm required to get a rabies shot, so I don't get rabies, I guess. So yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. Coming up to summer, so yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
how
rabies
it goes.
is bad, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think there's been 3 deaths in Australia ever recorded from bats.
Okay.
From rabies.
I thought it was more, but
yeah, so
I like your odds.
Yeah, well, the odds are pretty good. I guess the concern is more so that if something were to happen again, if someone were to have die from it, I think wildlife lovers are concerned that perhaps people would want bats culled or exterminated for fear of getting sick or dying. Therefore, they require that anyone working with bats get the shot.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's the job you're doing? You're relocating them? Or sorry, I might have missed that.
No, so I think the job will be basically, I think during the summer period, they overheat quite quickly, so it'll just be providing aid to bats and also being called out for any sort of bat rescue required. I think they get tangled up in, sounds like the most common incidents are bats getting caught up in barbed wire fencing and whatnot. So I think going out to work with them, if you get bitten, then there is a fear of, but even I think if you get bitten, they just give you a rabies shot anyway.
And it'll work post-bite.
Yeah, I think it takes a little while to kick in. The only issue is once it does kick in, once you've got symptoms, it's too late. Like there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay. Once the symptoms kick in.
Yeah. It's already too late by that point. So you kind of have to get it. I mean, as soon as possible, but they were talking, some people were saying like people get symptoms 2 years after they get bit.
Oh, shit.
So I don't think it's immediate.
Yeah, bat bites. I guess maybe just wear long clothes, cover all your protective clothes. And I mean, there's bats. Bats are pretty evasive though, aren't they? I mean, there's so many around Melbourne City even, in St Kilda and shit.
Yeah, well, it's sort of wherever they've got a couple of nests or what are they called? Colonies. I think there's one in Yarra Bend. I think there's one in Bendigo or something like around that area. But they move around, but I think they're the main common ones at the moment and have been for the last few years. So they're the ones that I'll probably be working at because the Yarrabin's the closest to me.
Yeah, so it's the colonies where they might,
Yeah, the colonies,
might
I
get
think
injured and stuff.
they huddle together, and I think in the heat they just start dropping out of the trees, dying. So yeah, it will be, I think, just keeping them wet or getting them to carers or whatnot in that time. But yeah, I thought it'd be pretty interesting work, and being an arborist, I might be able to help with another sort of skill.
You need to climb and all that.
Yeah, if anything needs climbing or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like working with animals, so just a good opportunity for me personally as well, just to learn more about Australian wildlife. Yeah, so that was my first job for the day. Then had my truck license theory test, passed 30 out of 32, which is not bad.
Pretty good, man. What did you get wrong?
Yeah, so anyone out there going for their truck license test or HR, heavy rigid license, the correct use of mirrors cannot
In Australia.
Correct use of mirrors cannot remove blind spots. Where I sort of got caught off by that question was when they were talking about if you use your mirrors correctly, you should still know where cars are even when they're in your blind spot. So I guess the wording of that, yeah, it doesn't get rid of the blind spot, but it says when using your mirrors correctly, you should be able to know where the cars are located. So the answer is that you can use your mirrors correctly and you should know where the cars are located, but that still doesn't get rid of the blind spot. And then the second question is, a car is defined as a vehicle that is up to 4.5 ton gross vehicle mass, which means that you can have those small trucks and whatnot that you can drive around with a truck license because it's up to 4.5 ton. So the question was, a car with 12 seats is considered to have a GVM of, I think I put 2.5 ton, which I should already know that wasn't correct because we've got cars that tow trailers and chippers and whatnot, and they're over that. So yeah, it was two questions that I probably had I thought about it a bit more would have got correct. But for anyone out there going for the license, that's something to keep in mind.
Yep. Yeah, awesome.
And then the sailing course. Learned how to capsize sailboats. So we capsize them and then learn how to flip them back over. That was a couple of hours sailing around. Stopped in for a birthday. Had a therapy session. And now we're here.
Nice, man. Action-packed day. Yeah. I was going to say, without trucks, Australia stops. So respect to the truckies out there.
Absolutely.
Cool.
How was your day?
Yeah. Pretty, it's felt pretty brief. Yeah, this morning just smashed out some coursework, note-taking with a new course that I bought, which we'll talk about. And yeah, what else did I do in that morning? Something else I forget. And then went for a walk to True Digital Park, which is the local mall here in Bangkok, where I live, near in Bangkok, and had a nice vegan lunch and did some stuff back here, and we're recording the pod. I prepped the pod docket, so yeah, nothing too exciting, but fairly productive.
What was on the digital menu?
It was there's a mall there, food market, food hall, should I say. And it was I just got rice and a few, I think 3 different prepared Bay Marine stuff, so super quick. And good, that's what I want. And then I had a banana, so... But enough of that boring stuff. Yep, so I just wanted to mention, for anyone out there listening, we have chapter markers now and timestamps. So if you want to skip through to interesting content that you might prefer, if you're using Apple Podcasts, you can scroll down below where the track is playing and skip to the markers, and YouTube should be incorporated into the video, and there'll be timestamps below. And Rumble, yeah, you just have to look at the timestamps because they don't have automatic chapter markers. So cool.
Our true fans, you probably already aware that all of the content is exciting and relevant, so you probably won't be skipping at all. You'll be listening to the whole thing, and we appreciate you for it.
Anyone can get through these behemoth podcasts. We salute you. But you now have the option to skip if you feel like it. So, cool. Macro factors affecting our lives. So, bit of important macro news on the economic front, and I guess just maybe political as well. But we have Javier Milei in Argentina has won the election in a resounding victory. I think he got like 56% of the vote. It seems Argentina is pretty sick of socialist policies and their 100% inflation. So the public spoke, and I guess it's a huge win for anarcho-capitalist philosophy, because Javier is apparently he's a self-described anarcho-capitalist, which is kind of the philosophy I subscribe to. And it's big news because it's kind of good and bad, because you have a society, it seems like a society has to get really bad before the public kind of realizes, and then they vote for a different policy, a different philosophy.
Do we have a definition of? Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, I can define it briefly for anyone that doesn't know, but essentially it's a philosophy that believes society will be better when government stays out of our lives, or just when intrusion from government coercion is just reduced to like 0 or next to 0, and embraces free market capitalism. It kind of centers around a couple of principles, like non-aggression principle. Like, no one should be able to intrude in your physical space, harm you physically, and vice versa. So I can read a brief definition from Britannica.com. Anarcho-capitalism, political philosophy and political economic theory that advocates the voluntary exchange of goods and services in a society broadly regulated by the market rather than the state. Anarcho-capitalism is rooted in classical liberalism, individualist anarchism, i.e. anarchism that prioritizes individual liberty rather than freely formed associations of individuals, and the 19th century Austrian School of Economics. And that's important because the Austrian School of Economics, it really embraces, things like misallocation of capital and non-intended consequences of, this like like government spending capital and all that. So, in the 19th century Austrian School of Economics, whose 20th century adherents included the influential libertarian economists Ludwig von Mises and F.A. Hayek. Anarcho-capitalism challenges other forms of anarchism by supporting private property and private institutions with significant economic power. Cool. And it's a guy called Murray Rothbard. It's pretty synonymous with anarcho-capitalism. He's written a book. I haven't really read any books. I just kind of just understand these on a just on like a natural level, I guess. But yeah, that's generally what it is. I will read another quote from my mentor, Doug Casey, my unofficial mentor. So this is a section from his newsletter. He got asked a question. So the International Man newsletter. What are your thoughts on social security, health, and Medicare? With an aging population, it seems politically impossible to make any meaningful cuts here. On the contrary, spending in these areas is likely to explode. So that was the question. Doug Casey replies, they should be abolished. I've said this many times before, but it bears repeating as often as possible, because everybody forgets the most basic of the basics. Namely, the government as an instrument of force should be limited to protecting people from physical force and nothing else. That implies a police system to defend people from force within, a military to defend against foreign aggressors, and a court system to allow people to adjudicate disputes without resorting to force. I'd further argue that those three things are so important to the conduct of a civil society that they shouldn't be left to the kind of people who inevitably gravitate towards government, but that's a different subject. So Doug has maybe a slightly different take where he believes in having a military and to defend against foreign aggressors and a police system to defend from force within. But it's all based on this non-aggression principle. So it's adjudicating based on force applied sort of thing.
Yeah, I like
everything else. Yeah. And everything else should be left to free market dynamics, free market regulation, everything, because that is what drives productivity and goods and services being produced and wealth being built. And there's just so many examples over history of why this works better. And it just things eventually just devolve into this more and more government socialist force and government coercion, as we've seen obviously over the last few years. And it doesn't get wound back, so it stays there. There's that saying, there's nothing as permanent as a temporary government program. So yeah. So does that outline it for you a bit, Luka?
Yeah, I like it. It's I'm all about it. I think it's a good way to, I guess, give the roles to government and police. And when you put it that way, it really puts into perspective what they should be doing and what they are doing, and seeing the contrast between the amount of power they have and what they should be, what their goals should be.
what they could be doing. Yeah, which is like, what they could be doing is basically nothing except protecting against aggression, like whether that be foreign or other schools of thought. It's people just create contracts within themselves, within the whatever they're doing. You agree to a contract, and there could be like a free market sort of adjudicating forces where like mediation, I guess, which kind of happens in courts at the moment. But this should all be free market dynamics. Yeah. So generally speaking, I mean, we can go deeper, but I kind of just understand these principles on an inherent basis. So I haven't really read too much about all this stuff, but
yeah, I guess it's
something I probably should do more.
It's probably something that you've already thought of, so you probably understand it because it's it's been on your mind. For people who haven't come across this theory or this idea, then it's something worth pursuing if it's an interest, just to wrap your head around the perspectives.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I want to read more about it. It's just I haven't. I just got to put aside some time to. Yeah.
I guess from a fundamental level, it I would say it makes sense. It's pretty clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. That's good to hear. Yeah. So probably nothing can be perfect. We can get as close to it as possible. And goods and services are what makes societies good. So why restrict that? That's what makes quality of life worth living. It's, you can go out and buy a meal, you can buy a guitar from the shop. It's just don't restrict that. And that goes for personal liberty as well. So yeah, let people be and don't tread on me, which is the the slogan, sort of the libertarian anarcho-capitalist slogan, don't tread on me, with an image of a snake, which I'm looking at now, ready to bite you. Cool. Yeah, so Argentina, I mean, it's awesome. It's pretty exciting news, to be honest. And when it comes, it's almost guaranteed that society will get better in Argentina. It could be a little bit of pain to start off with, but Argentina used to be a global powerhouse, like massive productive society. I think through the 1800s and everything, they were hugely productive. And when they brought their central bank in, which I think it was 1930 or something, of course, everything went downhill from there, which is the same as every other Western society that brought central banks in. So, yeah, it's, the stats speak for themselves pretty much. So, he wants to get rid of the central bank, abolish the central bank, he went around with a chainsaw, saying he's going to cut all these government departments. That was his thing. You could have given him some tips, Luka, how to handle that chainsaw.
No worries. Tell him how to start it up if he floods it.
Yeah. I don't know if he had a guard on that or whatnot. He wouldn't have had a guard on it. He would have just been letting
No, there's no guards on chainsaws.
If he turned it on. Yeah, right. Guards would probably be super annoying. And
it's just a chain break.
Yeah, right. So there's no automatic thing where it closes down over the chainsaw when you stop it or something? Or
No.
You just have right. Nice. I've never owned a chainsaw. I want to. I was very close to buying one when I was in the country, but so he's going to take a chainsaw, and it's just going to be cool to watch, and also a potential investment opportunity. So I'm very interested in Argentina now, and this we'll put a link to Doug Casey and George Gammon interview, which I've watched about a third of so far. I've watched a couple of other interviews about what's happened, and Doug mentioned that you could buy an Argentinian ETF, Maybe like a commodity-based ETF, which would be, resources, what Argentina produces. Property could be a play, although he did mention he bought this house years ago, maybe 2006 or something, and it's kind of lost money in real terms. He could sell it for what he bought it for today, which means it hasn't really appreciated much. But going into the future, who knows with real estate, but it could be a good play. So that could be worth looking at. And I'm going to look into it, keep tabs on it, and of course, the mainstream media are, labeling him all these like horrible terms, and they have no idea what he stands for, which is unfortunate because people just don't understand these principles properly, which is why countries are in the position they're in. And but these principles could spread, which is actually, this philosophy could gain some traction around the world, which would be cool. But it puts him in immense danger because he could get taken out. He could get killed. That's a very, very realistic thing that could happen to him. If he takes power away from the people that have maintained the status quo and like destroyed Argentina essentially. So we'll look out for that here on the road to making bank.
I like it. Yeah, be curious to see what happens with Argentina.
You like South America, don't you, Luka?
I've never been there, but
idea of it.
I like the idea of it. I like the idea of spending part of my life there. Yeah, I think there's certainly something there.
You're attracted to the culture somehow, yeah?
Yeah, there's the culture. I don't know. It might just be the way of life. It might be the tropical thing. It might be the beautiful women. I don't know. There's something. There's something there that would be cool to go check out.
I see what you mean. Maybe the food as well.
I reckon there's some history there. I reckon there's some family history there for me.
Ooh, you have to get onto ancestry.com and check where you're from. Yeah, is that the site?
Yeah. I think it'd just be a cool place to explore. It just seems like a different world.
Yeah. Well, when we make bank eventually, Luka, we'll buy motorcycles and cruise around South America. Sound good?
Where are we going? Medellin?
We'll go to Medellin, go down to Buenos Aires, Brazil, Rio.
We'll see it all. Argentina,
Uruguay, El Salvador. They actually got a free market based president in, and they've cleaned up that. El Salvador could be opportunities as well. Actually, for anyone out there that, we're talking about motorcycling around South America. Jim Rogers, who is a legendary investor, he's getting on now. He's probably in his 80s. He wrote a book called Adventure Biker. So he rode a motorcycle around the world, looking for investment opportunities. But I think he'd already made a bit of money by then. He had this, it was called the Quantum Fund, I think, and he was a fund manager. He's a billionaire now, I think. And so if anyone's interested in motorcycles and investment, hit up Investment Biker. But yeah, Luka, we'll get there, right?
We'll get there. We're on the road.
We're on the road. Yeah, we're not that far down the road, but
We're on it.
we'll get there. Yeah. Actually, I sold my motorbike, so to make enough bank to buy a new one. So, cool. South America, Argentina. Look into it. Keep your eye on it, everyone. Very interesting. Cool. Luka. Lockdowns, social credit scores, 10-minute cities, and ownership rights. You wanted to talk about this stuff?
Yeah, I was thinking about, I guess, revenue, like Victoria Police revenue, where they get their money from, and just thinking about how they're going to maintain revenue into the future, with, cars moving into self-driving vehicles. And at this point, I think it's going to be cars only, and then eventually it'll be trucks and buses at some stage as well. Probably take a bit more time for public transport because there's obviously more lives at risk in any one situation. And then trucks, I would assume, probably either before or after that. But yeah, transportation. Because at the moment, I think there's a fair percentage of revenue comes from, vehicle offences, driving offences, loss of licence, infringements, parking fines and whatnot. When that all becomes automated, I guess, I'm assuming the rules would be that an individual who isn't driving the vehicle manually wouldn't be able to be held accountable for an incident. So I'm guessing, that's quite a large percentage of the revenue.
Yeah, it's will the companies, if there's accidents, will the companies be held liable? Who knows how that's going to work? But yeah, I would say, it's interesting if this keeps going, this kind of technological evolution. I would say that if these type of governments are still in power, that they're just going to extract it from you in another way. Probably just tax you more, increase stamp duty on buying a house. They'll just find a way to make sure that they're still getting their parliamentary pension and that their salaries are increasing in real terms while everyone else's salaries are decreasing. So that's my pessimistic take. Yeah. What do you think would be the outcome?
Well, yeah, I guess from me, I was thinking about, they bring lockdowns in, and whether or not that becomes part of everyday life for the future. And then you've got people in and out. I guess I'm just trying to think of what are the different infringements or offences, that people are going to be taken down for to make up for those differences.
Yeah, well, it'd be,
because if they've got those 10-minute cities,
bigger.
They've got the 10-minute cities, so I'm assuming there'll be offences for leaving your areas.
Yeah, they can just keep bumping up the fines for leaving your area, something like that. But you're saying that, but like when you say cars become automated, do you mean like AI driving buses and stuff, and like people won't be allowed to drive their own cars, or what do you reckon?
Well, I mean, if let's say let's say there's 2% of their revenue comes from infringements. where's that 2%? What's going to happen with that 2% once cars are self-driving?
Oh, and they can like stay below speed limits and shit. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. When there's no incentive to break the law, and you can't be charged for breaking the law because you're not in charge of the vehicle drives itself.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll just figure out a way. Hey, they'll just introduce different fines. Yeah, it's people at the fines department don't want to lose their jobs, and they'll find a way to keep fining people. But I'm not exactly sure how. Yeah, fines for not wearing a mask. Maybe it'll be $400 instead of $100. And
interesting statistic here: 234,602 coffee cups at the Victoria Police Centre diverted from landfill between 1st of April 2021 and 31st of March 22 via the Simply Cups Australia program. So
yeah,
there's something.
Cops drinking a lot of coffee.
Hey, sounds like it's a good cause. But yeah, I guess I was just curious to see what type of laws will be brought in, and whether they'll be to replace the revenue that will be lost from technology, having things become automated. And I guess as the law starts to get harder to break, how will they continue to
and that's
make a profit?
Yes. Yeah, and that's assuming that all these AI things are actually going to happen. If there isn't enough capital and inflation gets too high to like start these companies that are like implementing all these automation and everything, this stuff might not even get up. So it's very things could go a bunch of different ways at the moment.
I remember when I was still living in, where was I? In Alphington. So this would have been maybe like 6-7 years ago. I was seeing this girl for a little while, and her housemate worked in town planning. And already back then they were planning and discussing how they can implement electric vehicles and automated vehicles in the Melbourne CBD.
Yeah, wow.
So I think...
Like as in like on public transport, or just forcing people to use them?
No, as in, ideas like swapping the roads out for these tiles, and these tiles will... I guess the car would move along these tiles, and they'd slow down, and if the tile was broken, if there was an incident, the tile could just be replaced rather than a section of the road. If that makes sense. So if you imagine like a honeycomb pattern, honeycomb tiles that go over the asphalt, and they can change color, they can slow the car down, speed the car up. I don't know if they were talking about charging the vehicles or not, but the car can read the tiles and provide information to the vehicle as to where it needs to go, what's the traffic doing, all that kind of thing. And if a tile was broken, then they could just easily replace the tile rather than having to repave the whole section of road. That was like 7 years ago, so it's already been planned for a while. So I'd say, it's either all a bit of a smoke screen or it's happening.
Yeah, see, my thought with that is like, but what are they actually trying to achieve? Is and why would you implement that? It's, what's like is it
It's
going to
like
make
anything,
flow
isn't it?
better? Are you going to, and if it's a public institution that are using taxpayer money for it, it's like the capital isn't going to be used properly.
Well, I guess it's also like Uber on another level, isn't it? Like if you've got automated cars and you put in someone's address or you put in 4 people's address, this automated vehicle finds the path. If they're all on the same system, they can all pick up people along the way that is most efficient and get them to go where they're going most efficiently. So perhaps things will run more efficiently. But it's, to what extent? Like, I mean, the efficiency is based on constant flow of energy. Or is it, I guess it's like, what's the goal? But I think at the end of the day, it's just people's creativity. We want to create things. We want to invent things. It's probably, I guess that's how we got to this point now. It's people just...
Yeah, but you want to be... sorry. It's you want to produce an outcome in the most efficient manner, in the most capital efficient manner.
Well, not necessarily.
That's the goal, though. If you want to do something.
Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. What was the relevance?
I mean, like, if you wanted to start a business, helping people.
Yeah,
get to different
I guess
places.
people have different reasons for creating things. Some people are just creative and don't really have a goal other than to put that pen to paper or just see if they can bring an idea to life. Ideally, it's useful. But not always.
I think you might be misunderstanding me. I'm saying that's cool to do that, but you don't want to waste money doing it. Right.
Oh yeah, well, but I mean, yeah, the intention would be to make things more efficient, to make things safer. Less hazards on the road, assuming that the automated cars are safer. There's less risk of, lives lost because of people's inability to maintain focus, or if they're unaware, or if they're under the influence or anything like that. I guess it just improves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for something like that. If there's demand from it and it's produces a good result. Yeah, I just think if you're going to spend money to do that, you may as well use that money efficiently. Yeah, no problems.
There's was that? I think I can't remember who it was. It's I don't know if it was like Kerry. Is it Kerry Packer? Is that his name?
He's an Australian business guy. Yeah. I can't remember what he did.
It was a video of him. It was just like him and I think he's in court, and they're trying to say that I think he wasn't paying his taxes, or he wasn't paying enough tax. Right. It's pretty funny, but he's giving like a defense.
Puts him in their place.
Yeah, he did a little bit. They're like, obviously they must have been complaining that he wasn't paying enough tax, and he's like, of course I'm trying to reduce my taxes. Everyone should be trying to reduce the amount of tax they pay.
Absolutely.
It's like certainly the government's not really spending it well enough for me to be paying extra.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Every single person should be trying to reduce their tax. Absolutely. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you if you're doing it legally? So yeah. But yeah, it goes to that whole thing tied to anarcho-capitalist philosophy. Is government going to spend this money efficiently and generally speaking, it's no. So can private companies, you could do this thought experiment. Could a private company build a safer transport delivery service than the government? Yeah. That's in a more capital efficient manner. It's, yeah. Then you get into the whole privatization debate. But as a general rule, I think so.
Well,
the government still has to extract the money from the tax base to pay for this stuff. So if the demand comes from the public organically for these things, there could be a fund where people contribute into, something like that for private companies to build stuff and maintain stuff.
Kickstarter?
Yeah, there's a bunch of ways it could work. Yeah, anything like that. Yeah.
Plug. There's an unofficial plug for Kickstarter. Speaking of donating money, how much money do banks lose by making your money safer? Which was another topic that got brought up around the dinner table. We were talking about banks and having your money in banks and your money getting stolen from the bank. And just an easy example was if you've got $100,000 in debt or $100,000 loan and you've got $100,000 cash sitting in the bank and you're slowly paying off that mortgage or personal loan, whatever it is, and then you've got just a regular payment that you're paying off. It might be more than the monthly scheduled payment, whatever it is. But if you imagine that all of your money gets stolen from the bank and that money isn't recovered, you've lost $100,000, but you still have to pay your outstanding debt, your mortgage. So if you have saved up, $100,000 over 10 years, and then that's all just disappeared, you're in a position where you had enough money to pay off the loan and now you've got no money, but you still have the debt. So banks are then making more money from you because you've now got a debt that's going to take you an extra 10 years to pay off because you have to save another $100,000, assuming that you're in a position to do that. So it's really a question of how much money does the bank make off customers who have their money stolen?
Yeah, it's interesting.
And what is the requirement for the bank and how much effort do they have to put into recovering funds for their customers?
Very interesting. Yeah, what was the verdicts around the dinner table?
Well, I mean, it was just really, it took a bit of a conversation to get to that point, to have that realization. So I don't think it really came to any conclusion.
Got resolved.
Yeah, that was just, it was just an interesting thought.
Yeah. I think there's two ways to look at that. Like, if the person that loses this $100,000, say, and he's got a $100,000 house loan, if he is still able to work, if a bank judges that he's still able to work and service his loan, the bank would have less incentive to recover that money.
Exactly.
But if he's going to default, that is a massive risk for the bank, and that's how banks price their products, because of default risk and all that. So, yeah, what the banks would probably do is look at the person's income producing capacity and then make a decision, I would say. Yeah. If he was liable, if he was going to default, looks like he was going to default, then they'd probably try and get that money back.
Yeah, but you could also put that person on a payment arrangement.
Yeah, but they still have to. But they could still just declare bankruptcy, right?
The customer?
Do you mean if someone can't pay it, you think the bank would just try and get them on a payment arrangement?
Yeah.
Then the customer would probably just prefer to declare bankruptcy, right?
Well, maybe not. Depends what other, if they've got businesses or if they've got assets or whatever the case may be. Some people just out of a pride thing might not want to, declare bankruptcy. So it really depends. I mean, option. It'd certainly be an option for some people, but I mean, overall, you'd have to look at the numbers and see whether it's cost effective for is the bank making money? Are they making a profit from fraudulent activity indirectly?
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, it was just it was just a curiosity. It was just an interesting observation. Yeah. So anyone out there who has any stats or would like to make a comment, get involved.
Yeah. I guess at the end of the day, it's sort of treated as an asset, but the bank's loaned you the money and that's the risk they've taken on. And, they could lose it, I guess. So that's the way they work. But, yeah, cool. All right. Should we move on?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're going to introduce an accountability section to this podcast. So maybe we won't talk about it now, but we're going to see how if we do what we say we're going to do, which, Luka, you say we have been doing, right?
Yeah, so
to an
just
extent.
going through the older episodes of the podcasts while we're doing the editing, just having a look at, listening to the conversations, a lot of the things that we have mentioned that we were going to do, whether it was just things we were going to look into, things that we were going to start doing or trying, or courses or books or whatnot, we're actually doing pretty well percentage wise on what we say we were going to do and what we are doing. So I thought, we thought making something official where we start writing down the things that we're going to do or want to do, and then just as a personal reference, see how we measure up and whether or not those things are getting done and what percentage of things that we say we're doing are getting done.
Yeah, sounds good. So see what we're doing. And also, last week we mentioned this app called Clockify. So if you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, autopreneur that works independently, works from home, I've been using this app that tracks your time. So you pretty much, when you start on a task, you turn it on. When you finish it, you turn it off and you switch to another task, and you'll get a weekly report of what you've been doing. I found it to be really good to focus on specific tasks and just to see what you're doing. Say you want to try and get 6 hours work done in a day, you can actually monitor what you've done and then chill, have a beer, smoke a cigar after that if you want. But I'm going to try to get Luka onto it. And then we can compare our reports, what we've been doing, if we've been saying what we're going to do, and perhaps chew each other out in a fun way.
I like it.
Nice.
Chew each other out sounds kind of weirdly sexual, though. I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay. What's another way to phrase that? Hold each other to account. What's a synonym for bag each other out? We'll bag each other out if we're not
hang shit on each other.
Well, that goes back to the Frank Kern quote, right? So thou shall not fuck around. Thou shall not be a pussy. If we detect either one of us fucking around or being a pussy, we'll call each other out.
Yeah, I like it. Fuck around radar.
Right. That's it. Frank Kern, everyone, was lived by. I think he's got a little video out there. Maybe I'll put it in the show notes.
I like it.
Cool. All right. Business topics and observations. I did have a little clip from Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad fame and Ken McElroy, who was a bit of a legendary real estate investor at this point. The concept of infinite return. So, to be honest, I don't understand it fully, but maybe we can figure it out live. So, we did watch this before, but generally speaking, Luka, you wrote some notes down. Maybe do you want to go through it and I can comment on it?
Yes, I will find the notes. One moment.
Okay. So they're speaking about a way to pretty much invest in property without putting any money down. Like you still have debt, but you don't have to put like a deposit down, I guess. So, yeah. So what have you written down, Luka?
So what I've got here is I take $1 million from Sherman and I take out a loan for $9 million, and together we buy a $10 million house. We grow the value of the property to $15 million, and then take out a loan for $10 million, and I give $9 million back to the original bank that lent me $9 million. I give $1 million back to Sherman, and then together we've got a house worth $15 million and a debt of 10.
Yeah.
Now it says
right.
return of capital, not capital gain, and not a sale. So I guess it's a return of capital. Capital gains, I believe, is money that you've made from it, but because you're still in debt for 10 million,
yeah, because
there's no capital gain. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a return on capital invested, I think. So, yeah, I mean, I think I pretty much understand it. So, yeah, and when that 9 million he's talking about, so he's got 1 million from Robert Kiyosaki. So this is an Instagram reel if anyone wants to check it out. I'll link it. He's got $9 million from someone else, could be a bunch of investors. So he's got 10 million. He buys this $10 million multifamily apartment complex. So in America, they call them multifamily, which is pretty much just apartment blocks. And he increases the value. He adds washing machines. He adds other facilities and stuff to make these condos better. And then he gets another loan based off the equity, which is now 15 million. And then he pays the original investors back. So that way and then the investors get a percentage return on the cash flow from the rentals. Because he's bought this whole apartment block. He controls everything in the apartment block. And so the original investors will get percentage return, I guess. I'm assuming. I'm not actually sure, but and yeah, then they have this cash flowing asset that they just hold on to. That he's bought with no money down. So does that make sense, Luka?
Yeah, well, I think like if I give you $1 million back out of the debt, then apparently you don't pay tax because the money is debt. It's not credit. So you just get your $1 million back, and now you also get a percentage of the property, and you get the money. And I guess the money from the property is likely, whether it goes to you or whether it goes to pay off the loan. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I suppose if it does go to you, then you don't pay money on it because there's still a debt, because you're still in debt for 10 million.
Yeah, it'd probably offset it.
I mean, obviously,
it'll probably be positive. Yeah, probably be a positive cash flow property, so they might have to pay just general income tax on rental, but like in terms of the the difference.
It'd be interesting
if they
to
were
see
to
that on a smaller scale. So, using $1 million, and then
you turn the numbers down.
Turn it down, and maybe that make it a little simpler. But like borrow $1 million or borrow 900,000, get 100 grand from someone else, buy $1 million property, take out another loan against it. But see that, that's where I don't...
Because you haven't sold anything.
I guess you can maybe take out another loan against it because you've raised the value from 1 million to 1.5 in this example. But I suppose maybe it's different.
Yeah, because that's why. Yeah, it's
like an extra 5 million is different to an extra 500,000. So the bank might look at that differently and might be more willing to give you a loan. Unless they're talking about...
Who knows? I mean, it's on a percentage basis. Should be okay.
Unless they're talking about, like consolidation loans. I'm not sure if that's what they're talking about. Taking out a consolidation loan to consolidate the debt with another bank and then just pay off the existing debt.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd get that extra loan from, wait a minute.
Because is it two separate loans on top, or is it a consolidation loan where, like, let's say we've got...
No, they're getting, they're getting a fresh loan because he's found investors to buy this property.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, not a bank.
Right, okay.
And then he's getting a fresh loan from the bank.
Gotcha.
And paying these investors back.
Right.
And he's... Yeah.
Okay, well that makes a lot more sense then.
The idea is that it's tax-free. It's tax-free because he hasn't sold anything. And to work a standard job and produce that kind of capital... say you need to produce, 5 million or whatever, you're going to get taxed a shitload on that. Whereas nothing's getting the debt. Like he's put that, increase the value of the property. He's put a small amount in, I guess, to build the property out. But the debt that he gets to essentially pay the investors back isn't taxed. Whereas like someone needed to make that capital, usually they just need to work a shitty job and get taxed 40% before they can save enough money up to buy something. So I think that's the idea, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I understand it properly.
Yeah, well,
you get it. Understand it more.
I mean, I think the way that I'm understanding it is, okay, so you've got 900,000, 9 investors, 100,000 each, and then one person puts in 100,000. So let's say you've got 10 investors, $1 million, buy a house, raise it to 1.5, take out a loan.
By spending maybe, let's say he spends 100 grand, to add all this stuff, increases the value 5 million. You're probably going to spend more than that, but you know what I mean. And then, he's increased the value by spending 100 grand, and then he's got this $10 million loan.
And then I think because you've taken out the loan and then you give the cash back to the investors, and then the property pays off the loan.
Yeah. And it's cash flowing, and he hasn't sold anything. So there's, it just seems to be tax-free money, I guess.
Probably be worth checking
cool
into
to
see how it works out. See, it sounds good if that's how it works.
That's what we said. We're working it out on this pod. So if anyone go check that reel out, see if we're making sense or not, and see what you think. But maybe we'll get more into real estate in the future on this road to making banks. So we need to learn these things, Luka.
It's one of the steps.
Yeah.
Real estate's
another
part
mile
of the
on
game.
that road. It's part of the game. So cool. All right. Ooh, should we move on?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Business ideas, progress, new ideas. You got some stuff here, man?
Yeah. So doing the Aaron Sansoni course, we realized there's a different couple of personality archetypes in the entrepreneurial space. I fall under the thinker. So I like to brainstorm. I like to come up with ideas. I'm an ideas man. And then I guess that's about it though. That's where my magic stops. So I really need to work with people who are doers, who like to get stuff done, who like to do the technical side of stuff, who like to do what I would consider the boring stuff, the data and the stats. I guess if we break this down into a science experiment, I like to come up with this science experiment, and I like to do the experiment and see how it works. But I don't want to write down all the reports and do all the tasking. But I guess my point for this was, how do I turn an ideas passion for ideas into a job? And what
I got an idea,
that?
man, but keep going.
Yeah. And what do you call that? Apart from the ideas guy. I mean, troubleshooting was one. So troubleshooting with businesses, offering a troubleshooting, I guess, service. That was
troubleshooting,
one.
consulting service.
Creative director is a term I've heard. I'm not sure what it means, but that sounds like it could be something.
I think it's more like for art direction and stuff like that.
Okay.
For a business, branding, shit like that. But I mean, you could have some ideas for that.
What's your idea?
My idea is Luka's business idea, Lucky Dip. Right. So
Yeah.
this could be a little side part of what you do, but you go on your website, your personal branded website, and then, you've already built an audience by this point, and you have Luka's business idea, Lucky Dip, and there's an image of you like with a Wheel of Fortune wheel. Someone pays you $3.50 for Luka's business idea, Lucky Dip. And then you spin this wheel, and then they get this pre-packaged, pre-formed business idea from the man himself. What do you think?
I like it. But I want to take it a step further. I want to personalize it. It could be a Lucky Dip. Lucky Dip is one option. If you'd like a more personalized service, you can...
Like industry specific?
You can go industry specific. Or you could do profile specific. So maybe you could have a couple of different options. Lucky Dip. You could have industry
personality
specific,
based Lucky Dip.
or you could have profile specific where you go, okay, industry specific. This is the industry that I want to work in. Okay, here's some business ideas. Or you go profile specific. Here's all the things that I do want in my business. Here are the things that I don't want. And then I come up with a business idea for you based around the boundaries and the inclusive and exclusive
search
points.
terms.
Yeah, terms that you've put in.
Input terms.
And
Yeah,
then
nice,
we work
man.
out in a business for you that would work.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Business generator.
do this with a team as well. Like, because you could be the ideas man, but then you could bring on to your team or outsource a stats person. And, you could do these sort of prepackaged ideas. Yeah. Or you could just do half an hour consultations or whatever for you need some more tips.
I just think, if there's businesses out there that don't have an ideas guy, their business isn't doing well, they don't know what to do, and they don't know who to turn to, but they know something's not working. Who do businesses go to for that kind of thing? And brainstorming and coming up with ideas and possible things for them to try could be helpful.
It could be hard to, because usually they go to people with heaps of experience, right? And business experience and consultation,
Yeah. The only thing I can think of is...
You could differentiate. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, doing like a testimonial basis thing, like you maybe help someone out and they're like, oh yeah, that was really helpful information, or it was good to talk that out. And also coming from a perspective where you don't have any emotional attachment to the business. So you're an outsider, like impartial, third party, providing, well, as much as possible, unbiased information or suggestions that will just genuinely help the business to grow, whether it's providing a better service or becoming more efficient or whatever the case may be. I suppose those two things go hand in hand a lot of the time. But
I think it's, you could do it, but you just need to I think there's a lot of companies that do this already. You just need to differentiate somehow.
I think maybe working with small businesses would be a good place to start. People with organic businesses, or the brick and mortar sort of businesses, or
you could just work for free. You could do, just give them ideas for free.
Yeah.
See if they like it.
Well,
then
this
ask
is
for a
the thing.
testimonial in return.
This is the thing. If people aren't paying, they're not paying attention, is what I've been hearing a lot in the industry. So you give someone a free idea and they say, yeah, but they won't actually use it. But if you charge them for it, then they're more likely to implement them because they've put in, I guess they've put in for it, They've put something on the line. They've put some skin in the game. It's cost them something to get that idea. So it's it will cost them
that
more
dynamic,
to not do it.
Yeah, that dynamic about whether to charge or not when you're starting out, it's an interesting one. Yeah, I'm kind of dealing with that as well.
Well, I don't know. I think it's probably more just, I think it's more of a personal thing. I think people should be charging money, but I think it's just more of a personal battle to coming to the realization that you should be charging and having the confidence to charge it, because you're trying to provide a service for someone. And realistically, people aren't going to take it seriously if they're not paying for it. Like, they'll take your advice and they'll hear you, but it's free advice. So if they take it or not, they don't lose anything. So not doing it has the same outcome as doing it in reality. But because human beings are lazy, you know, in terms of, you know, doing things efficiently, and efficient means if it's the same outcome not to do it as it is to do it, then I may as well not do it. It hasn't cost me anything to listen to you, give me your idea. If I don't do it, I'm in the same position. So, but you don't know if anything positive is going to come out of it unless you do it. But the risk is that you've put in effort and no guarantee of return. So if someone pays money, if someone pays money or time, then now they're actually at a loss. So now they have to recover that loss by putting in some input and making a change.
Yeah, it's I see what you mean. I guess the only counter argument, I guess, is that when you're first starting something out, you can get some testimonials under your belt. That would be helpful. And maybe you're more likely to get that if you offer a free trial or something. But in saying that, I've changed my strategy. I'm not, I think I'm maybe on one campaign, but I'm not offering free stuff from now on, I think.
Yeah,
but that's because I want to spend time on other stuff as well. But
I think if you've got no skills,
generally speaking,
if you've got no skills in anything and you're trying to start a business or you're trying to start something, then working for free is really helping you more than it is helping the other person, because you're trying to learn a skill to provide value. Yeah. So at that point, you know, if you've got no life skills or not life knowledge, then there's nothing at all that you can really bring to the game. It's completely new for you. Then doing things for free might be good at the start, at least so you've got some experience and awareness of what your job is. But once you know what your job is and what your service is, then you can start charging people money. Now, obviously, you're probably not going to charge the same amount of money that professionals who have been in the game for years or decades are going to be charging. But still, to at least make it worthwhile, and so that you've got some money coming in to cover your costs, or at least cover some living expenses, so that you can at least keep doing it, is helpful. And if you are providing work for free, well, I suppose if you're providing work for free, hoping that it, if it's taking up all your time and you don't
get a review from it.
Yeah, and look, it might be helpful.
It could boost your skills up.
But I think it'd be
generally
really
speaking. Generally speaking, I think it's better to charge. Yeah, but. Yeah. But anyway, we got off track a bit. Luka's ideas business. So, cool, man. So, you think what are you going to do with that?
What's the next step? Find out how, I don't really know where to go
action
from there.
step.
I'm going to write this down. I'm writing it down in the pad.
Write it in your TRTMB notebook.
I also...
And we will address...
I was drawing,
Which I'll do as
scribbling, and I think I may have a logo suggestion for the Road to Making Bank podcast channel.
Ah, nice. Yeah, man.
Which might be pretty cool.
Put it to me. Yeah, check it out. I actually saw a cool animated version of our logo we could do as well. Like like it's an image of a road. Like similar to the first initial template that I got off Canva for ours. But it's like the AI generated one from Midjourney. Looks really cool. But yeah, man, send it my way.
Cool.
Scan it, take a photo of it, whatever you want to do.
I've got another quick idea while we were chatting, going through the docket, talking about timestamps, an app for timestamp creation. So people who are doing podcasts, if you would like to automate your podcasts to create timestamps without you having to go through the entire video or audio, typing in a keyword segment, and then when it gets picked up, it automatically creates a timestamp using those keyword segments. So if you put in a sentence, when that sentence comes up in the audio, it will create a timestamp at that point. So that's an idea.
That could be cool. As far as I know, nothing can do that specifically for timestamps. I know Descript has a bunch of AI features. They can do show notes, like copy for that. Like it'll analyze your whole transcript and do like social media posts. What do you call it? Just like titles, headlines, which grab people's attention. But timestamp one, yeah, I'm not sure, but that could be cool because it is a time-consuming process doing timestamps. Yeah.
So
let us know, or
if anyone's doing that or has any tips and tricks for timestamps, give us a shout out. And then we've got legacy businesses as well. So doing the Aaron Sansoni course, he mentioned that he loves legacy businesses. These are businesses that have been around for more than 20 years or 30 years, I think he was saying. I guess these businesses, if they've been around for a while, have proven to withstand hard times and continue going through the changes that society and the world is going through, and still maintaining some position, and are still profitable. And generally, these businesses are also probably pretty old school in terms of how they operate. So there's a lot of opportunity to scale as well. So just a quick tip for anyone looking at buying businesses.
Yeah, and they have that legacy brand name as well, I guess. So that could bring a bit of weight to it as well.
Plenty of goodwill and IP, I guess. Goodwill being the intangible value of a business.
So maybe one of these legacy businesses that are unloved and need a revamp, you buy one of them and, possibly introduce a digital transformation strategy. So, look at your digital marketing, look at your channels, look at your social media, your website setups, your different channels, video channels, digital online sales processes and that, and give it a revamp, and you got a freshie. I think there's a girl I follow on Instagram, Cody Sanchez. She's big into this, so if anyone wants to learn more about that, check her out. But yeah, I think she's into it. So she's on top of it. So awesome, man. And so you were saying before we started rolling that it's got you interested in your bookshop, maybe buying a bookshop, yeah? Again?
Yeah, well, I
'Cause
guess I might need to take another look and go back into this idea of the book business. But yeah, trying to figure out how it would work. Trying to create a good deal that works for everyone. Yeah, we'll see. It's sparked up, pricked the ears up again though.
We'll run the numbers on it, man. I think we'll talk about this later, but do your numbers analysis on it, assets, liability, profit, loss, and all that, and yeah, maybe get a legacy business. So cool. All right, moving on. Courses we're doing, books we're reading, and any new courses we want to do. So I'm back on the course train. I've bought 2 new courses. One is Matt H. Gray's 3 Secret Founder OS courses. So this is like an offer that you get when you sign up to his newsletter. I'm pretty sure. I don't think you can get it anywhere else. So this is what's happened. I've been following Matt Gray for a while now. I find his stuff to be really, really helpful and really resonates with me. He's had some good systems productivity advice that I've implemented, which has been good. And yeah, so yeah, I'm a bit into this course now. It's awesome. I've changed my routine where instead of wasting, an hour in the morning drinking a coffee and scrolling Instagram, even though I only look at like business stuff on Instagram now, I've been hitting my courses straight away after getting up, make a coffee, hit the education leveling up button on Clockify time tracking and start absorbing and taking notes and learning. So that has been awesome actually. It's like I really look forward to it in the morning. And then when I do that, I have all these, man, the ideas just keep coming for my content website that I'm going to do. And I find myself stopping doing the course and then adding notes to my pretty much my business plan, essentially, document that I have in Basecamp. And so that's been awesome. That's kind of a productivity hack as well, I guess. Get into your courses first thing in the morning, maybe when you have a coffee, if you drink coffee. Yeah, so maybe I'll just share something quickly from the notes I've taken, just for an example. Like, I just opened this page up randomly. So, flow, block off 4 hours per day for flow. Focus on the most important parts of your business. So for Matt, he gave some examples: writing, creating YouTube vids, writing email newsletters, things that are important to growing your business. Block off 4 hours a day for that. So he is a systems productivity guy and building an audience and all that sort of stuff. And his company is Founder OS. So he's pretty much all about helping founders, essentially just like turbocharge, implement systems for their businesses. So yeah, I'm a big fan. So I'll plug, and it was only $29. So I think my days of buying $1,000 courses are over. I've only bought one, but yeah, I can, yeah. So that's one. And I bought Miles Beckler's. He ran him this morning. I bought a course this morning. He does the Black Friday email, and he convinced me because I've gotten heaps of free value from him so far, and he offers most of his stuff for free. So he has a new thing that he's brought out. So I was like, cool, this can distill the information better, and he's got heaps of other free stuff that I can get into anyway. I think this course, in terms of building a content website business, this will be really good to keep me on track. So I haven't started it yet, but I'll leave a link below. Maybe the deal won't be there anymore, but yeah. You got any new courses, Luka, or you got anything to say about them?
Course-wise, yeah, just still running off the fumes from the sand stoning course. But yeah, I guess going back to the truck license, as I mentioned, part of the reason I got it was, as we've been discussing business and, looking at how you can improve your services, working as a subcontractor for a few different companies. A lot of companies have, complained about not having enough truck drivers on staff or on hand. So thinking about how I can, improve my services to them, getting a truck license so that you can become a bit more valuable to the team. And I guess that makes things easier for owners to operate their businesses because they've got an extra person to rely on in that base. And yeah, going from the Sansoni course, he was talking about providing value and the value to money ratio. He was saying that if you're in a service-based business, you want to offer a value of 10 to 1. So 10 times value to 1 value of the monetary value that they're putting in. And then if it's a product based business, you want to be offering a minimum of 3 to 1. And that's an average across all your clients. So obviously some people are going to be, he said some people are going to be your fans. Doesn't matter what you do, they're going to love you and they're always going to buy from you. And then he said that you could offer that same product or service to someone else and they just aren't happy with it at all. They don't recommend it. They don't like it. They want their money back. Just isn't for them. But he said on average, people should feel that they're getting that ratio of value for the money that they've put in. So something that, is good to be mindful of, to have at least something like that to aim for, which is pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty good thing just to keep in mind and to be aware of. It's not something that I've thought about, especially from like a ratio perspective. How much value is someone getting or how much value am I giving compared to what they're putting in? And we did a bit of an exercise as well, where we looked at how much money do you want to make in a year, and then you break it down to a daily, down to an hourly basis, and then you look at how much money do you want to make, how many hours do you want to work per week, and then how much money do you need to make per hour to be able to make that much money in that many hours. And yeah, it was looking at how can you improve your service, and what are all the things that you could do to provide more value. And it was very interesting to see how much more value you could provide. I mean, I'm talking about even if you go from, for me as an example, I'm a subcontractor, like contract climber. So companies hire me to come in and usually climb the trees. It requires a little bit more skill, a little bit more difficulty. So my service is I come in, I do the job, complete the job within a reasonable amount of time and do it safely. And then, without damaging any property, or putting anyone in danger. That's kind of the bulk, or that's the meat of the job of the service. But yeah, I guess for me, having stopped drinking, it's almost been 2 years, no drugs. So that kind of already separates me ahead of a lot of people as well, you know? So, whereas when I used to rock up to work.
Do you say that?
No, but it's just things that I don't say that. I don't put that in as one of the perks of hiring me, but it is.
You could,
because a lot of people. Well, you could, if you wanted to break everything down, you could add that in. So you might say,
there's no chance of you being hungover rocking up to a job.
Yeah,
but I mean, you could say that for any job, really, couldn't you? I don't know.
Well, yeah, and
any freelancer.
But that also might be something that stands out for people, because it might be an issue. Like a lot of trades, people have issues with drug addiction and whatnot. So that would stand out. If you don't drink or do drugs, then you can't. And like if you're at the same level in terms of quality of work that you do, but the difference between you and the next guy is that you don't drink or do drugs, then the employee or the employer is going to look at that favorably if you're on an equal skill level to the next person. So those little differences, they might only be 1% or 0.5% difference, but if you keep adding all those little things up, then I guess you kind of start to slowly stand out. And at that point, even if you don't notice the difference, other people might point it out to you. And then that makes you a little bit more valuable and potentially be able to offer more money. I guess Hormozy talks, goes back to talking about Hormozy and his philosophies. Talks about, well, what's the advantages and disadvantages that you have? So, he was saying that he compared himself to Warren Buffett. He's like, well, Warren Buffett has the advantage. He's, one of the biggest investors in the world, has, $90 billion. But he's also like 94. My advantage is I'm 60 years younger than him. So I've got 60 years to catch up to him, from that perspective, and also a lot more to learn. But, and then if people say, well, why should I work with you? Why shouldn't I work with Alex Hormozy? You can say, well, Alex is always busy. You don't really get to speak to him. He's got a team of people that you speak to and they will deal with you. You won't ever speak to him personally. Whereas I will be working directly with you and we'll have full contact. You can reach me anytime. And if you have any concerns, I'll be on to it straight away, because I'm going to be providing you with, gold class service to make sure that you get what you want. So it's, finding ways to rephrase things that you might see as a disadvantage and rephrase it in a positive light, so that you can, one, for yourself, be confident and be more confident that you are, rather than saying I'm inexperienced, you say, well, I've got more time to give you to make sure that you're getting a great service. So things like that. That's why when we go back to talking about working for free, well, rather than working for free, you can say, look, I'm going to charge you this much, and okay, I haven't done much work, but you're my only client. So you've got all of my time. Like I'm going to be working 8 hours a day for you on your project because I don't have any other projects to work on. You might not say all of that, but you could certainly say that, I'm dedicating
that aspect.
Yeah. You can say, well, look, I'm dedicating this much time to making sure that you get what you want and to make sure that I am, give you the best service that I can.
And another aspect of Hormozy offers as well, $100 million offers, you could offer a money back guarantee as part of different offers you make. So that's a whole nother category, different aspects to it. So
yeah, for sure. Love it.
Yeah, man. So yeah, cool. So you're expanding your value that you provide to your clients at the moment as an arborist.
Yeah.
One thing that popped into my mind, like you have a good contracting business, man. Successful. You've done well, and congratulations. You make good money, but I'm thinking like, but you don't want to. You don't want to be a arborist business owner, do you? So I'm thinking like, are you going to, when you want to pursue your idea that you want to do you think you'll just quit altogether, or are you going to like cut your work hours down, or how do you reckon that you're going to do that?
Well, I was thinking about it. I was looking into how much work I actually do per year, how many days of work I work per year. And it's not that many. Like it doesn't average out to be 5 days a week. I think it averages out to be 3 or 4 days a week. So I was thinking rather than waiting, trying to fill 5 days a week and then occasionally not, rather make myself less available and fill the days. You know, if I only make myself available for 3 days a week, then I'd be more likely to fill 3 days a week for the entire year. And then I can dedicate, when I know I've got 2 days off a week, I can set a routine or a schedule for those 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, that could be cool for, prospecting and working on ideas and stuff. But I'm thinking like, because you might have to, if you're on the job on your tree work, you might have problems you need to sort out while you're on the job. I'm just thinking about my experience so far. It's like, once you dive into something, you might, maybe it could be different, but you might find that you're going to need that time to on the business that you want to start.
Go all in.
So because you got, someone might book a call with you, consultation call, you need to return an email. I've realized like, I kind of dread looking at my email now because I'm going to have to return some emails. I tell you, there's shit that you kind of have to get on top of. It's like, I don't know, man. I couldn't do this, what I'm doing now, with working some other job, I think. Like, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah, I do understand.
I mean, when you're starting, it might be okay, but you could have that safety net of working a few days arborist, and then you could find that you might have to give that up fairly quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it depends. It depends also what you're doing. Looking at buying a business, for example, if you are buying a business, you could buy a business under management, which means you've got a manager running the business from the get-go, which means you have no part in the business. And it's, I guess going back to Robert Kiyosaki and once again, Sansoni, you're a 1, 2, Sansoni says you're a 1, 2, or 3. Robert Kiyosaki says you're a, employee, small business owner, employee, self-employed, business owner, or investor. And it's the same thing. Sansoni says player, coach.
It's a good way to differentiate. Yeah, player, coach. What was the other one?
Player, coach, investor. So it's about being just buying the business, having someone run the business, and you own the business and manage the manager, manage make a few decisions. like you hear those, Warren Buffett or, what's his name? Steve Jobs or whatever, they're just saying like they're not doing
Apple guy.
Yeah, they're not doing a lot of work. They're just making a few good decisions a day. Like they'll make 3 important decisions a day, and that's their job for the day. I guess they've got all that knowledge and that skill base where, they're making big decisions, and that's kind of their focus for the day. They're not out there hustling. And I guess at the start you probably do have to, and because I'm not a business owner and never have been, then I would have to hustle and make sure that I'm on top of things. You're kind of running around. And that's
you might have to put some systems into place for or make sure the systems are as best as they can be. Maybe whoever sold you the business, probably going to have to at least look at it and see if you can improve or whatever. But I mean, if it's cash flowing, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was like a rental property that I have. It's like, it's really the property manager takes care of everything, and I don't do much. So yeah, if you can get a business like that, yeah, absolutely, man. You might be able to keep working your tree work. So
yeah, well, I guess it's a skill that I wouldn't like to lose. So I think just doing a little bit of it, at least to maintain the skill, is something that I would like to do, whether it's 1 or 2 days a week. Should something else require more of my time?
Maybe you can make it into a fun thing, like education channel or something, or like say you've bought another business, you could business in a separate industry, you could still do climb trees. You could just show people how to climb trees. You could pivot in that way or something.
Speaking of, I'm not sure if I told you or not. Bought a GoPro last week or the week before.
Oh yeah, you told me. We talked about it on the pod.
Oh, okay. Did I talk about live streaming?
We had like a whole section on it.
Oh, okay. There you go. I can't remember if I spoke about it or not.
Yeah, check the show notes. The Twitch, GoPro and all that. Yeah, we talked about it for quite a while.
Cool. All right. It's still fresh. I'm still pretty proud of myself. So,
we can talk about it more if you want.
No, that's all right. As long as everyone knows about it, that's fine. I actually set up a new profile. So it's called Tree Horizon. So I'll be putting up videos, live streaming, and putting up videos, recordings on there. I think
so. You got Tree Horizons, and
I deleted
Luka
the other
Bernay.
one. Yeah, I deleted the Luka one, and just went with Tree Horizon.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was like, "Oh, did you come up with a cool name?" And I was like, "Nah, I just created a profile with my name," and everyone just laughed at me. So I was like, "Oh, maybe I should be going with a cool name."
If you want to do specific tree one, yeah, but if you want to do a personal branding one, you probably best to have your name.
Well, I thought the tree stuff could be under the tree one, and then a personal branding one could be just something else.
Could be it could be just the business that you get into. It doesn't have to be your name. But that whole personal branding thing is another thing to talk about. Maybe I've got a bit of, I've learned a bit about that. Maybe next week I'll talk about it. But cool. So you actually deleted the account? Or
yeah, deleted it.
The Luka.
I mean, I could always create a new one, I guess, and it's not like anyone has my name, so.
Yeah, could have been worth keeping. You could have just put it on private or something, but.
Whoa, all right.
You did put out some posts. I mean, you have them all saved, don't you? The posts, you can just repost them. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll work it out. But for now,
yeah,
that's the one that
but
we've
yeah,
got.
if you wanted to do a personal branding thing in the future, you probably want your own name. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's move on. Life hacks. So, you want to talk about doing quick numbers on business valuations?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I guess if you're looking at buying businesses, learning how to read P&Ls, profit and loss documents, and cash flow statements, things like that. A lot of people talking about they usually will just get some paperwork, read the numbers, see if it's worth pursuing or not, and then if not, keep moving on, or yes, it's good, let's look into it a bit more. So that would be a skill that would be worth, learning about, just because it would probably save you from a time efficiency thing. It would save you a lot of time, whether it's worth
just don't know what to look at.
Yeah, knowing what to look at, so you don't waste time researching things that in the end are going to be irrelevant. But yeah, I guess that's going to come with a lot of probably skill or mentorship, which I've signed up for. So hopefully we'll see how we go and learn something from that. But yeah, I thought, how can you, if you're looking at starting a business or looking to make something more efficient, what ways can you figure out whether it's worth pursuing quickly without wasting too many resources or too much time? I guess time might be a resource for you as well, so could go the same, or money.
I guess just generally, you want, cash flow and assets minus liabilities, and just look at the margin, I guess. And there could be more to that, but I've never done it. Maybe we can look at a real life example in the next pod, Luka. Go through it.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to be back. I'll just be back in a second, so I'll leave you to it for a moment, Sherman, if that's all right.
Yeah, no worries, man. Cool. So, tools and services that we wish to recommend. I wanted to talk about A2 web hosting. On the last podcast, we were outlining a content website business and a strategy and the steps to take to implement that. I didn't understand the concept of buying a domain and web hosting and if it was separate or not, but I figured that out. And so web hosting, if you don't know, it's generally a place that stores your website, stores the files and all that related to your website on an actual computer. So you can have shared hosting or separate individual hosting. So shared hosting is cheaper. So if anyone is looking to start a blog site or a content business, like a content website or an authority website, could be good idea to start off with shared hosting. And there's a bunch of different companies out there. The one I went with was A2 Web Hosting, and they had a special on. I'm not sure if it was a Black Friday special. I feel like they might have the special on more, but it was a good one. I paid annually, but it's only $5.99 USD a month. I got the Turbo Boost package, and you get unlimited websites, unlimited SSD storage, free and easy site migration, free backups, and super fast sites. So it says the Turbo Boost is 20x faster and a money back guarantee. So I think at any point you can get your money back if you're not happy. And this comes recommended from Miles Beckler, who is my go-to guy for content website business. And yeah, so speed is really important with website loading and that. So in terms of conversion rates and everything. So we'll give, I haven't used it yet, so I can't do a review. I can't really plug it, but I've gone with it. And just generally, yeah, so you're going to need, you can buy a domain with A2 hosting, or you can use a domain that you've registered separately somewhere else. So I bought my domain with Pork Bun domain registrar, and I just inputted it on A2 hosting. And oh yeah, another big thing that they have is that they install WordPress for you. They do optimize automatic install of WordPress, so it's pretty much good to go. Ideally, I wanted to go through Miles's kind of, I wanted to learn more about the process of doing all this first, but it was a good deal, so I had to jump in. So yeah, you back, Luka?
Back.
I can kind of hear. Yep. Yeah, so I spent, it's $6 a month US for this web hosting, and it says it increases to 22 after a year, but I don't know. I'm going to find a way to pay less than that, hopefully. So, yeah. And yeah, I think the other costs with content websites is going to be your email and if you want to do sales pages. So, yeah, so that's that one. Did you have any thoughts on web hosting, Luka?
I guess I'm not too familiar with what web hosting is.
Yeah, so when you're away, just then I was saying, like, on our last podcast, I didn't really know the difference between web hosting and domain hosting or registration and all that, but they're separate things. So yeah, web hosting is generally a place where you store your website files and that. It's on an actual computer somewhere, an actual server. And yeah, I mentioned this before, but yeah, I got shared hosting through A2 web hosting. So comes recommended from my man Miles Beckler. So
what's the benefit?
yeah. It's pretty much everyone needs it if they want to have a website, if they want to run a website. So you need it to be hosted, but this way, because I'm not going to use, I don't know what you call it, but it's like Wix and Squarespace and Kartra and all these companies that charge you a lot more. So this is called self-hosted WordPress site. So it's only $6 a month at the moment. You can get it, because I got the more expensive one with unlimited websites, because I'm probably going to do multiple, but you can get $2 a month ones for startup. But this is the special. It says $11.99 after it's after a year it'll switch to $11.99 per month, but it's still pretty cheap in the big scheme of things. So that's the idea, that a self-hosted site, because these sites like Wix and Squarespace and all that, they include the web hosting, but then they might cost at least $100 US a month or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. So you're saying that rather
sense.
than having a domain, you're using a website, and that website hosts your website.
Yeah, well, you need to have separate domain registration. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I already talked about all that, so
Okay.
I guess
All good.
yeah,
All good.
I'll leave it there. But it just needs to be separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Coming towards the end, what do you want to achieve in the next week, man?
Well, yeah, got the truck license practical test this coming week, so that would be either add to my service for my clients or not.
Nice, man. Have you driven trucks before?
I have driven trucks.
Light trucks?
Under instruction. Yeah, and medium rigid trucks.
Yeah, you'll be right.
So, yeah. There's a non-synchro mesh gearbox, also known as a crash box, which is, everyone's made me very well aware that it's difficult.
Different. Okay.
Yeah, the truck training school even made me sign like a declaration form saying that they told me that it would be difficult and that I'm still willing to go through with it. And if I decide that it is too difficult, that
you don't get your money back.
I don't get my money back. And if I want to change,
that's a good contract term.
Yeah, and if I want to change to a easier license, like a automatic license or whatever, there'll be fees included. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a make or break this course. But yeah, it's got 2 days to figure it out.
Yeah, so it's a course and then tests.
Yeah, I think 1 day, maybe
training.
1 day training and then 1 day test.
Yeah, you'll be right, man. Just take those corners wide.
That's it.
Just realize how long the truck is and should be right. You know how to drive a manual, so
spatial awareness.
I don't know what. Yeah, just remember how long the truck is.
Well, it's.
I've driven a little bit, but yeah. Sorry, yep.
I was gonna say it involves double clutching, which I think is the.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know
how to do that. But yeah, the other thing is start planning for 2024. So I've already got a few things that I've committed to for next year. So I think just getting a yearly planner and starting to fill out all those dates and what I'm doing and trying to have a couple of main objectives for the year and then breaking things up into smaller achievable milestones. And what that looks like. A lot of people seem to be, plan out their year or what they want to achieve for the year. You listen to like Peter Bet-David and whatnot, and they talk about, come around close to the end of the year, they start thinking about, okay, what do I want to do for next year? What do I want to achieve? And then they start working out a plan for that. It's not something I've ever done or it's ever even crossed my mind. So it would be cool to start looking at that. Sansoni said that you want to start thinking of your day and breaking it up into 15-minute blocks. So thinking in 15-minute blocks. That's,
short intervals.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does, I think he'll do like a 30-minute live call with the team that I've signed up for. It's 30 minutes a fortnight, I think, or 30 minutes, a month in different cases. But yeah, thinking in 15-minute blocks. So anything that's half an hour, I guess you just think of that as 2 15-minute blocks. But yeah, breaking up the day into that kind of process, I guess, might make things more achievable. I don't know whether you can put that into Clockify and sort of break up your day into 15-minute blocks that way and then allocate 15 minutes to certain tasks or a couple of 15-minute blocks to certain tasks. Is that something that it does or that you can do?
I don't know. Yeah.
Or it's just more of it just records
you might be able
times.
It just records the times, but you can input times. So you can do it all manually if you want. But yeah, it gives you those two options. Yeah.
Does it have alarms? So if you wanted to say, I want to do half an hour for a podcast docket, I'm not sure. Allocate half an hour?
I think it would, but I'm not sure. Yeah, we'll look into that. Yeah, cool. Awesome, man. So does the goals for next year include making bank and starting a business? Different business?
It does. It does. I think next year has to be the year that a business is started.
You're diving in?
Yeah,
nice.
I'm going to dive in.
Nice. Gonna dive in, man. It could be where you learn the most as well.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. So, awesome.
What do you got on for the week?
And yeah, I was going to mention quickly, planning the night before as well. I've started doing that, and I think it kind of works. Planning your day for the next day, the night before, because then when you sleep, you kind of you're just processing that instead of potentially worrying about it. So, yeah. So I mentioned that. For me, nothing too crazy. I've settled in an awesome routine in my condo now. Yeah, if anyone, you guys want to get the Bangkok condo life, it's pretty good deal if you're dealing stronger currencies. So yeah, every second day I'll go up on the rooftop pool, get some sun. Man, that has been awesome. Like, I haven't been getting enough sun. Man, just like a little bit laying in the sun and chilling in the pool, like getting sun on your back and on the front of your body. Man, it's made a huge difference in mood and sleep and everything. So
how's the sun
every second?
How's the sun compare in Thailand to Melbourne? Would I roast? Would I roast there as well?
I reckon you'd be better here. Melbourne, like when it's summer, you can get burnt so easy there. I think it's harder here, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, something about Melbourne, because in Perth I never got burnt, but Melbourne can like cook you.
Yeah, I remember when I was in Queensland, I tanned, but I didn't burn, and I was in the sun, for half the day.
Yeah.
Whereas here, you're in the sun for 15 minutes, you just burn.
Maybe if that hole in the ozone layer is still there, it's over in Melbourne. So, yeah, no, I'm digging it. I'll try and go up there every second day. The weather in Thailand has turned awesome. Like, I didn't know it was going to change, but now I understand why it's rainy season and the good season. So I think it's a good season now because the humidity's dropped and the days are just awesome. So yeah, it's very different here now, which is cool. Just nice sunny days and less humidity. So that's actually been really cool. I'm going to smash through my Matt Gray course, and still I have 3 courses to knit out pretty much. So I have to spread progress out on them or decide whether I want to finish one first. Yeah, anyway, I'm just going to keep learning and take steps to keep taking more steps to build the website, the content website. So it will be international strategy niche, and I got a shit ton of ideas, so I'm actually really excited about that. So shit ton of angles, shit ton of slogans, shit ton of imagery, branding stuff. So yeah, and yeah, I think I have a consultation call booked in 5 days. So yeah, just build the podcasting clients, and yeah, man, go from there, I think.
Nice. I like it.
Cool.
What's on for tomorrow?
Yeah.
If you're planning for the day before, planning the night before, what are you doing tomorrow?
Well, I was actually thinking of having a day off tomorrow.
Ah, there you go.
Which I don't think I've ever. I've been to Actually, yeah, I've been to Pattaya twice, and I haven't done any work there pretty much. But that's like 4 days in the 5 months that I've been here or whatever. So I don't think I've had a day where I haven't done anything. So I might I need to buy some stuff for my condo. I think I need like a little pot to cook in. Yeah, I have a mug and a glass. So I might, man, I hate IKEA though. I don't want to go there. But man,
do
I
they
went
have
there
any,
once.
Do they have any like op shops
It's
or
the worst
second?
experience.
Do they have any like secondhand stores or
Oh
anything
yeah,
like
actually.
that?
Yeah, no, you're right. There is a secondhand market that I wanted to go to. I think it's called Patavicorn Market, but it's a little bit of a mission. So I don't know. I think I might have a day off tomorrow, but we'll see. I'm just gonna roll with it in the morning.
Nice.
So cool. All right, bro. Are we done?
I think we might be done.
Anything you want to say to the audience?
Any questions? Yes. If you've got any ideas of how I could promote or market the ideas business, the ideas man business, ideas guy, how do I approach a business and say, hey, I'm the ideas guy. Do you need help with your business? Let's figure out where it's going wrong and how we can improve it.
Nice.
That would be cool.
Let us know, everyone. Give us some feedback on Luka's Ideas Man business. And, yep, go to the Instagram at the Road to Making Bank. Yep, we have, if you feel like, actually, I won't say that. Yeah, cool, man. We'll see everyone next week. Actually, no, I'll say that. I was not going to say it, but we have a donation option. If you want to support the website, you can.
Yes. Donate.
I feel bad saying that for some reason.
But well,
I don't think we should, right?
Yes.
If you don't have, if you feel like you want to, the option is there.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't donate to us, then there's probably going to be some cute puppies around the world that might die. So if you want that on your conscience, then don't donate to us. But
no blackmail here on the Road to Making Bank podcast. But
so, if you say something like that, maybe you can feel bad. But saying that we have a donation page, well, we have a donation page. If you'd like to donate, you're welcome to. You don't have to, but please do. Even that sounds shit. What we can say is, hey, we have a donation page. If you enjoy the content that we're providing, or if you found any benefit from anything you've heard, and you'd like to keep us in the game and on the road to making bank, please donate. And if you have any requests to go along with your donation, please do leave a request and we will endeavor to fulfill that request.
Or a question, yeah.
Or a question. Or even if you just have a comment.
Well said, Luka. Thank you for that. Yeah, it will help, of course, anyway.
We'll improve our pitch for your donations over the course of our podcasting career.
We'll have a pitch section.
Oh, maybe
Cool.
we could. Maybe we could in the future. Yeah. Have an audience pitch section where audience members pitch their ideas. Could be cool.
Oh, well, they want to pitch their business ideas.
Pitch a business idea. Maybe that's when we're down the road to making bank and we're investors.
Yeah. If you want a question or ideas, you want to put forth business ideas, just send us a DM at Instagram at the Road to Making Bank. Put probably get a proper business email eventually. But cool. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone, and we will catch you next time. Cheers, Luka.